Hello, YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to the first installment of Why Hollywood Failed. We're going to get in there and figure out why Hollywood can't make a good movie to save their industry. In this video, we're covering wants and needs, which I thought was fundamental character writing, but here we are. A character's wants is usually a superficial objective. More money, more power, more status, something the character believes will make them better. If we look at Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, the character's want is usually what drives the inciting incident or the call to action. The main character makes a choice based on their want, following through with an action to get the want, and that allows the rest of the story to happen. The character's need is usually an intangible. The character needs to learn a lesson, they need to grow as a person, they need to let go of the want, and the need can only be obtained after they've completed the hero's journey. Most recent Hollywood films have the story happen to the main character rather than the main character pushing the story forward. An almost perfect example of this is Disney's The Acolyte. The supposed main protagonist, Osha, instead of starting the hero's journey, having a want, and acting to obtain that want, the journey happens to her. Osha wakes up in bed, the story shows up, and they're off on their adventure. Osha could have literally been a handbag being dragged along for the story for all that Osha has added to moving the story forward, which, frankly, the story of a force-sensitive handbag would have been much more entertaining than what we're getting out of that show. Being extremely generous with the storytelling in The Acolyte, at the end of episode 4, the characters finally enter the unknown, which means they've completed their first quarter of the hero's journey. That means it took them half of their episodes to complete 1/4 of this journey. On the other hand, a fantastic film that demonstrates how a character's wants and needs can push the story forward is the 1961 film The Hustler. Fast Eddie Newman sets out with 2 goals at the beginning of this movie.
10 grand. I'm gonna win 10 grand in one night.
The pool game is over.
No, it isn't, Charlie.
Eddie,
The pool game is over when Fat says it's over.
you wanted 10,000, you got 10,000.
Oh, get with it, will you, Charlie?
Get with what?
You can't see it, can you, Charlie? I mean, you've never been able to see it. I came after him. And I'm gonna get him. I'm going with him all the way. The pool game is not over until Minnesota Fat says it's over. Is it over, Fats?
These 2 goals represent the character's want, the $10,000, and what the character thinks he needs, which is to beat Minnesota Fats. The plot of this movie could never have happened if Fast Eddie had not made choices, acted upon those choices, and then the consequences of those actions propelled the story forward. And the tragedy of this movie is that Fast Eddie could have stopped those consequences of his actions if he had learned the lesson of what he needed before the end of the story. But that is the question: how does a character know what they need until they've completed the hero's journey? It is also an absolute pleasure to see actors like Paul Newman, George C. Scott, Piper Lauren, and Jackie Gleason pouring talent into each of their scenes. The acting and realistic stakes of the film make you believe that there is much more going on than a simple game of pool. I highly recommend The Hustler as a movie to put on your watch list, especially if you want to see how characters' wants and needs can drive a story forward instead of having the story happen to the character. Thank you for viewing. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and please subscribe.